Paul McCartney says Beatles allowed Yoko Ono to do this due to being non-confrontational, deference to John. The "I Want to Hold Your Hand" singer frankly called Ono's presence in the studio interference in the workplace. Paul McCartney said the Beatles put up with Yoko Ono joining the band in their recording sessions for The White Album in 1968 at John Lennon's insistence out of deference to him and because they were not very confrontational. Things like Yoko being in the middle, literally in the middle of the recording session, was something you had to deal with, and the idea was if John wanted this to happen then it should happen. There's no reason why not, McCartney said in Wednesday's episode of his podcast, McCartney, My Life in Lyrics. Out of deference to John we would allow this and not make a fuss, and yet at the same time, I don't think any of us particularly liked it. It was an interference in the workplace, he added. He called The White Album recordings a period of change fueled by Lennon's intense relationship with Ono. We were heading toward the breakup of the Beatles, he said. John and Yoko had gotten together and that was bound to have an effect on the dynamics of the group. He said before Ono began joining them in the studio, it had always been just the four of them and an engineer named George Martin. We'd always done it like that, so not being very confrontational, I think we just bottled it up and just got on with it. The Let It Be lyricist reiterated, this was our job, this is what we did in life. We were the Beatles. That meant if we didn't tour, we recorded. The 81-year-old said his genial attitude was learned from his father, who he described as gentlemanly and polite. We were encouraged to be good guys in our family, so that if we were at a bus stop and there were women in the queue, my dad would raise his trilby to them and say, "Good morning," and he encouraged us to raise our school caps, he said.